अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। First of all, as you know, we discussed the female genital tract and we studied the vulva, vagina, and cervix. And today we discuss the non-neoplastic conditions of the uterus. First of all, as you know, the normal structure. I want to review the normal structure. As you know, the uterus is composed of the three lines: myometrium in between, outer is the perimetrium, and inside is the endometrium. So the myometrium is the thick muscular wall, smooth muscle of uterus covered internally by mucosa called endometrium. And endometrium extends to the internal os where it joins the endocervical epithelium. As I have told you, the cervical epithelium is continuous with the epithelium of the uterus, with the endometrium. Myometrium is capable of alteration in its size, capacity, and contractility during pregnancy and labor. As you know, that the uterus have to have the ability to show hypertrophy and hyperplasia, both not only in normal condition under the estrogenic, under the hormone control, and maybe due to the abnormal stimulus. Endometrium respond in a cyclic fashion to the ovarian hormone. As you know, the uterine cycle or the ovarian cycle, and has a remarkable regenerative capacity. As you know, the endometrium superficial lining is shed monthly in a female, so it is called as the menstrual cycle or the ovarian cycle. So the endometrium respond in a cyclic fashion to the ovarian hormone and has a remarkable regenerative capacity. First of all, when they damage, destroy, shed it, then again it regenerates. So endometrium has the ability to regenerate. It is the normal structure. So uterus is composed of three lines. In between is the myometrium. Inside is the endometrium, which continues with the endocervical epithelium, and outer is the perimetrium. So these are three lining of the normal uterus. Now, the first of all, we discuss the dysfunctional uterine bleeding, or other name is the abnormal uterine bleeding. Little bit different between these two. The dysfunctional uterine bleeding defined as excessive bleeding during or between the menstrual period without a causative uterine lesion such as tumor, polyp, infection, hyperplasia, trauma, blood dyscrasia, or pregnancy. Mostly the DUB reflect the a disruption in the normal cyclic pattern of ovulatory hormonal stimulation to the endometrium lining. DUB occur most commonly in association with anovulatory cycle. Anovulation is the result of prolonged and excessive estrogenic stimulation without the development of the progestational phase. As you know, pituitary release follicle stimulating hormone, and due to this follicle stimulating hormone, the follicle which are present in ovary become stimulated, and there is an excessive secretion of the estrogen, and after that the ova which are present in this follicle become mature, and then the estrogen level reaches up to the amount. The ova is released from the ovary, and then the follicle is changed into corpus luteum, and the corpus luteum secrete progesterone. So when there is a no ovulation is occur, there is only the secretion of the excessive estrogen without any progesterone. So the anovulation is the main cause of the dysfunctional uterine bleeding. There is an excessive proliferation of the endometrium, and then it shed out and causes the bleeding. Now we see what are the causes of the anovulation at different stages are as follows. In pre-puberty, before the girl becomes puberty or the adult, precocious puberty, the puberty which occurs before time of hypothalamus, pituitary or ovarian area. Due to this, there is only the estrogen, there is no ovulation occur, only the estrogen without any progesterone. Uh, in adolescence, anovulatory cycle at the onset of menstruation. At the onset of menstruation, most of the cycle is without any over. So only the estrogen is present, not the progesterone. In reproductive age, complication of pregnancy, as we know, the Sheehan syndromes, in which due to the complicated pregnancy, sometimes there is a for a period of the time there is a lack of oxygen and it causes the तो बेटा फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैंने जैसे कि आपको बताया कि हम जो डिस्कस करेंगे वो है डिसफंक्शनल यूट्राइन ब्लीडिंग, डिसफंक्शनल यूट्राइन ब्लीडिंग और एब्नॉर्मल यूट्राइन ब्लीडिंग दोनों के अंदर लिटिल बिट डिफरेंस है। जो DUB होता है उसमें मोस्टली जो है वो कोई खास एनाटॉमिकल जो है वो डिजीज नहीं होती, ओनली देयर इज अ हार्मोनल इम्बैलेंस, और हार्मोनल इम्बैलेंस में क्या होता है एन ओव्यूलेटरी साइकिल होता है। ओव्यूलेशन चूंकि नहीं होती तो प्रोजेस्टेरॉन नहीं होता, एंड व्हेन देयर इज नो प्रोजेस्टेरॉन, ईस्ट्रोजन causes there is a excessive proliferation of endothelium and there is a bleeding without any progesterone. So there are many causes of an ovulatory cycle, as the slide show: puberty, pre-puberty, precocious puberty of hypothalamic, pituitary or ovarian origin. In adolescence, anovulatory cycles at the onset of menstruation. Mostly in earlier ages, the cycle is anovulatory without ovulation, so no progesterone, only the estrogen. In reproductive age, complication of pregnancy, endometrial hyperplasia, carcinoma, polyp, leiomyoma, and adenomyosis. In all these conditions, there is an excessive estrogen without any progesterone, and there is no ovulation. At premenopause, as you know, the ovarians जो है not respond to the hormone. So in premenopause, when the females reaches to the menopause, but not the menopause occur, irregular shading, endometrial hyperplasia, carcinoma, and polyps. All these lead to the anovulatory cycle. And when there is a no ovulation, there is no progesterone, only the estrogen, which is released by the ovary and causes the excessive proliferation of the endothelium or endometrium. At perimenopause, endometrial hyperplasia, carcinoma, polyps, and senile atrophy. In all these conditions, there is unopposed estrogen without any progesterone. So in these conditions, there is a excessive proliferation of the endometrium and it causes the dysfunctional uterine bleeding. In addition to anovulatory cycle, DUB may occur in adequate luteal phase that manifests clinically as infertility, ovulatory dysfunctional bleeding. In defective luteal phase, secretion of progesterone by ovary is below to the normal, or endometrium is not responding to the normal stimulus of the progesterone. So, in luteal phase, there is no progesterone or less progesterone, and sometimes endometrium is not respond to the progesterone which are secreted by the corpus luteum. So it can lead to the dysfunctional uterine bleeding. The mostly which are not occur due to the hormones, These are called as the abnormal uterine bleeding. And the causes of abnormal uterine bleeding are endometriosis, uterine polyps, uterine fibroid, sexually transmitted diseases. All these can lead to the abnormal uterine bleeding. Dysfunctional uterine bleeding, which are wholly solely occur due to the changes in the cyclic changes in the hormone, they are called as the dysfunctional uterine bleeding, and which occur due to any without any ovulatory dysfunction, they are called abnormal uterine bleeding. And the treatment of this dysfunctional uterine bleeding, combination of oral contraceptive contains some synthetic estrogen and progesterone that control and regulate the menstrual cycle. So the estrogen is present and progesterone is there. So there is a imbalance is maintained, so there is no bleeding occur, and there is a dilation and curative. As you know, there is unopposed estrogen is there, so excessive proliferation. So when there is an excessive bleeding, sometimes dilation and curative is beneficial to remove the superficial layer of the endometrium, and bleeding is stopped for a period of the time. And the last option is the hysterectomy. When there is no option, the family is completed, and there is an excessive bleeding, it is the last option is the hysterectomy. Hysterectomy is the last option of the dysfunctional uterine bleeding. Now the second condition is endometritis and myometritis. Endometritis and myometritis are common clinical problem. Myometritis is less frequent than endometritis. Endometritis is more common as compared to the myometritis and occur in continuation with endometrial infection. When endometrium is infected, it can lead to the myometrial infection, but mostly the endometritis is common. Endometritis and myometritis may be acute or chronic. Now we see what are the causes of acute condition. The most common condition is the purpura, following full-term delivery, abortion, retained product of conception. All these can lead to the, when these are the delivery is performed, abortion is performed, and the retained product of conception. All these can lead to the unhygienic condition, and these unhygienic condition lead to the production of the bacteria, and then it lead to the endometritis and myometritis. Intrauterine contraceptive devices, when it present for a prolonged period of the time and unhygienically condition, then they insert by unhygienic condition, that can lead to the endometritis, and then endometritis is can involve the myometrium. And the third cause is the extension of gonorrheal infection from cervix and vagina. As I have told you, the endocervical epithelium is continuous with the endometrium. So the any infection of the vagina and cervix can lead to the endometritis, can involve the endometrium, and can lead to, from the endometrium, it can involve the myometrium. When endometritis and myometritis occur, what are the common presentation? Mostly the common presentation, as we know, and when any infection is present, the most important symptom is the fever, abnormal uterine bleeding, and pelvic pain. Now, the causes of the chronic condition. Causes of chronic conditions are same. When the acute condition is not resolved, it can lead to the chronic infection, chronic condition. So all the same, in addition to tuberculosis, endometritis, and mostly common in developing countries, not in the developed countries, in developing countries. And the second is the pelvic inflammatory disease, like due to the chlamydia trachomatis. So all these are the causes of the acute and chronic endometritis and myometritis. Endometritis is common as compared to the myometritis, but when endometrium is involved and it is not treated, it can lead to the myometritis and the involve the myometrium. Now, what are the morphological features which are present in endometritis, myometritis? In acute condition, as you know, there is a progressive infiltration of endometrium and myometrium by polymorph, mostly the acute inflammatory cell neutrophil. In chronic condition, there is an infiltration of lymphocytes, plasma cells, and macrophages. As you know, in acute condition, acute inflammatory cells are there. In chronic condition, chronic inflammatory cells are present. And in tuberculous endometritis is mostly associated with tuberculous salpingitis, यानी कि फिलोपियन ट्यूब की भी टीबी इन्वॉल्व होती है जब टीबी एंडोमेट्राइटिस होता है. And show granuloma. As you know, the granuloma is the microscopic aggregate of activated macrophages, and it is mostly present in the chronic condition, and mostly we see in our country tuberculosis. Presence of the abnormal uterine bleeding, pain, and infertility. When these acute and chronic condition is not treated, it can lead to the infertility. Now you can see the picture of the chronic endometritis. As I have told you, the chronic endometritis and myometritis are contain plasma cells, lymphocytes, and you can see with yellow arrows they show the plasma cells. So this is the chronic endometritis. You can see the inflammatory cell and mostly the plasma cell. You can easily differentiate it or easily diagnose this condition. Chronic endometritis. Now here TB endometritis. Here you can see the giant cells are there. Granuloma is there. Granuloma is the microscopic aggregate of activated macrophages. So here you can see the granuloma, and this is the picture of the TB endometritis. Histological picture of TB endometritis. Now, after the dysfunctional and abnormal uterine bleeding endometritis, now the condition is adenomyosis. Adenomyosis is defined as abnormal distribution of histologically benign endometrial tissue within the myometrium along with myometrial hypertrophy. What is the meaning of adenomyosis? That the endometrial tissue is present in the myometrium. As you know, there are the three layers of the uterus: endometrium, in center myometrium, and outer is the perimetrium. When endometrial tissue is present in the myometrium, it is called as adenomyosis. Actually, when we see the adenomyoma, what we see? Adenomyoma is circumscribed mass made up of endometrium and smooth muscle tissue. Smooth muscle tissue is there and endometrium is there. The possible cause of adenomyosis is the metaplasia. As you know, the metaplasia is the conversion of adult epithelial and mesenchymal tissue and to another type of the adult epithelial and mesenchymal tissue. So it is said that there is a metaplasia of the smooth muscle cells to the endometrial tissue, endometrial gland. Possible cause. Sometimes it is said that some studies suggest that women who have prior uterine surgery, they prone to develop adenomyosis. It is seen that. And it is also said that the adenomyotic tissue contain aromatas, so local and circulating estrogen enhance the growth of the gland. So estrogenic stimulation, as I have showed you, estrogenic stimulation due to endocrine dysfunction of the ovary. This adenomyomas, they contain aromatas, and the function of aromatas to produce estrogen, and there is an excessive growth. So you can see there is a myometrial hypertrophy is mostly present in adenomyosis. Patient complain of menorrhagia, excessive bleeding, colicky pain, dysmenorrhea, and menstrual pain in sacrococcygeal region, mostly the sacral region or sacrococcygeal region. Low back pain, mostly the patient experience in adenomyosis is the menorrhagia, colicky type of the pain, and mostly the low back pain. And adenomyosis is, in other words, the presence of the endometrial gland, endometrial stroma in the myometrium. What are the gross features of the adenomyosis? Uterus may be slightly or markedly enlarged. On cut section, diffuse thickness of the uterine wall, presence of ill-defined areas of hemorrhages due to the cyclic changes which occur in the endometrium. So this endometrium show areas of hemorrhages. Microscopically, endometrial gland stroma is seen deep within the muscular layer. Associated muscle hypertrophy is generally present. Mostly as I have told you, there is a hypertrophy of the myometrium is also present in when the endometrial gland is present within the myometrium, and myometrium also show the hypertrophy. And hypertrophy is the increase in the size of the cell, not in the number, increase in the size of the cell. So hypertrophy is present. Now you can see the picture of adenomyosis. Adenomyosis, you can see the presence of the endometrial tissue in between the myometrium. In the myometrium, you can see here they are present in the myometrium. Red color show this is the tissues, endometrial tissue, which are present in the myometrium. This is the adenomyosis. How we can diagnose adenomyosis? First of all, the pelvic examination. In pelvic examination, we see the enlarged and tender uterus. Second option is the transvaginal ultrasound. In transvaginal ultrasound, adenomyosis is not seen, but a transvaginal ultrasound is mostly done to exclude other conditions. And also, it is confirmed by the magnetic resonance imaging. And mostly these three diagnostic tools which we use to see the adenomyosis. And sometime during hysterectomy, we see the myometrium contain the endometrium. So the last option is to see the uterus which obtained after the hysterectomy. The myometrium contains the endometrium. So this is the adenomyosis. Here you can see the endometrial gland and endometrial stroma is present between the muscular layer. You can see the muscles are present in upper portion, they are also present in lower portion, and in between you see the endometrial glands are present. Another picture of adenomyosis, you can see here the endometrial gland are present in between the muscle. Muscles are present in upper portion and muscles are present in the lower portion. In between, endometrial gland is present. So this is all about the adenomyosis. The other condition is the endometriosis. Endometriosis is the presence of endometrial gland and stroma in abnormal location outside the uterus. क्या difference हो गया? Adenomyosis में endometrial gland and stroma is present in the myometrium, and in endometriosis the presence of endometrial gland and stroma in abnormal location outside the uterus. It occur in 10% women in their reproductive age. इसकी कंसर्न इतनी ज़्यादा वो नहीं है percentage, 10%. Most common sites जो है वो endometriosis के हैं ovaries, uterine ligament, fallopian tube, rectovaginal septum, bladder wall, pelvic peritoneum. फिर जो इससे लोअर परसेंटेज में है लेप्रोटोमी स्क्वायर, अम्बलाइकस, वेजाइना, वल्वा, अपेंडिक्स, हर्नियल सेट. और लीस्ट कॉमन जो है lymph node, lungs, skeletal muscles, bone, and sometime and somewhere it is written heart is also involved due to the endometriosis. Now the theories of endometriosis. What are the causes of the endometriosis? It is not the exact cause of endometriosis is not known, but speculations are there. Number one is the transplantation or regurgitation. According to this theory, ectopic endometrial tissue is transplanted from the uterus to an abnormal location by way of fallopian tube due to the regurgitation of the menstrual blood. As you know, the blood contains the shading of the endometrium. So this there is due to the regurgitation, the endometrial tissue implant at other side and produce the endometrial tissue. So these tissue can grow there and produce endometriosis. The second theory is the metaplastic theory. As I have told you, metaplasia means conversion of adult epithelial and mesenchymal tissue to an other type of the epithelial and mesenchymal tissue. So it is said that ectopic endometrium is developed from local tissue by metaplasia. There is no regurgitation, there is no transplantation. The tissue which is present, they change into the endometrial tissue. The third theory, all these theory is suggested when they are present in the nearby structure like the ovary, vagina, all these structures या septums हैं, union bladder में, तो ये तो दोनों theories इसको explain करते हैं. लेकिन जो अब हम दूर हैं कि जो distant structures are involved, for this it is speculated that vascular or lymphatic dissemination, development of endometrial tissue at extrapelvic site by these routes, vascular or lymphatic dissemination. So these theories are present, but the exact cause is not known. But these are the certain speculation that the endometrial tissue is present outside the uterus by these speculation, transplantation, regurgitation, metaplastic theory. Third, they reaches to the distant side by the blood vessel or by the lymphatics. The signs and symptoms are intrapelvic bleeding from implant, circular जो वो cyclic changes में cyclic shading भी है, cyclic bleeding है, severe dysmenorrhea, pelvic pain, dyspareunia, infertility, pain on defecation when they involve the rectovaginal septum, dysuria when it involves the urinary bladder. So mostly the signs and symptoms depend where this endometrial tissue is present. Now the glossary, the foci of endometriosis appear as blue or brownish black in color. Where it is present, they appear blue or brownish black. These foci are surrounded by fibrous tissue, resulting in adherence to adjacent structures. जहाँ पर भी endometrial tissues होंगे, they are surrounded by the fibrous tissue, fibroblast, and they attach to the neighboring structure. Or ovary is the common site, as I have told you, due to the according to the regurgitation and implantation theory. So the ovary is the commonest site of the endometriosis and show numerous cysts, small cysts. Ovary involvement is often bilateral. Large cyst is 3 to 5 centimeter in diameter, filled with old dark brown blood and form the chocolate cyst. The chocolate cyst किस वजह से बनेगी? Due to the presence of the endometrial gland which are present and they produce the small islands of the endometrium. So these are the gross features. Now histologically, endometrial gland or stroma with old or new hemorrhages because of the cyclic जो changes आएंगी estrogen progesterone के अंदर, वहाँ पर जो है वो old or new hemorrhages we can see. Hemosiderin laden macrophages are there, and as I have told you, there is because of there is an abnormality, so inflammation is there and fibrous tissue is there. It is also seen that endometrial tissue is not just misspelled but also abnormal. It contains some abnormal behavior. It contains some abnormal mediators as compared to the normal activity. What are these? These tissue exhibit increased level of inflammatory mediators, particularly prostaglandin E2 and estrogen production due to high aromatase activity of stromal cell. As you know, the prostaglandin E2 causes the contraction and relaxation of smooth muscle, dilation and constriction of the blood vessels. So we see these endometrial tissue which are present outside the endometrium contain the mediator, and most important is the prostaglandin E2, and also they contain aromatase. Aromatase, what are the function of aromatase? Aromatase convert the androstenedione to estrogen and to testosterone to estradiol. So aromatase, where it is present, it causes the production of the estrogen. So these changes enhance the survival and persistence of endometriotic tissue within the foreign location. So it is seen that these endometrial tissue contain the chemical mediator, and also they contain aromatase, and aromatase function is to produce estrogen. Now here you can see the picture of the endometriosis. Two or more of the following histological features are the criteria for diagnosis. क्या है? Endometrial epithelium, endometrial gland, excuse me, it is not necessary to know the microbiology or all this, but it is for your knowledge to know the cause of disease. When you know the cause of the disease, it is easier for you to treat the patient. It is why it is necessary? It is necessary when you know the origin of any disease, then it is easier for you people to treat it easily. But histology is very much important for you people. When any patient has any disease, they present a biopsy report to you. If you don't know the histology, how you can diagnose, and how can you say the patient what is happening to you? So it is important for you people to know the basic histopathology of every disease. So the in endometriosis, endometrial epithelium is present, endometrial gland is present, endometrial stroma is present, and as I have told you, hemosiderin laden macrophages are there. So you can see in this picture, stroma is there, gland is there, and gland contain the blood, or these are the hemosiderin laden macrophages. Because of the cyclic changes, bleeding is occur, and these bleeding can present in the endometrial gland. You can see in this picture. Now, the last topic is the endometrial hyperplasia, and it is very much important topic. Why? Because endometrial hyperplasia, if it is not treated, if it is not, it can lead to the endometrial carcinoma. Is a condition characterized by proliferative pattern of glandular and stromal tissue, and is commonly associated with prolonged, profuse, and irregular uterine bleeding in a menopausal or post-menopausal women. Hyperplasia is result from prolonged estrogenic stimulation unopposed with any progestational activity. Such conditions include polycystic ovarian disease. As you know, in polycystic ovarian disease, there are chronic anovulation. In polycystic disease or polycystic syndrome, chronic anovulation. So there is no progesterone, only the estrogen. Lead to the constant endometrial stimulation with estrogen without progesterone. And this many cysts are present in the ovaries, and they contain they secrete the estrogen. And also these polycystic ovarian, these, as you know, normally the ovaries secrete estrogen, progesterone, and male hormone. But in these conditions, the ova is not mature, so they cannot secrete the progesterone. Only they secrete estrogen and androgen. So in polycystic ovaries, unopposed estrogen stimulation without any progesterone. Other name of this condition is Still-Leventhal syndrome. Other cause of the endometrial hyperplasia is the granulosa theca cell tumor. These granulosa cell tumor are the sex cord stromal tumor of the ovary, and these tumor also secrete the estrogen. So there are the because of there is excessive proliferation of the endometrium by the estrogen, and adrenocortical hyperfunction and prolonged administration of estrogen, obesity and menopause. In obesity, estrogen progesterone imbalance, and also there is a dysregulation of the insulin like growth factor activity, which lead to the endometrial hyperplasia in obesity. In menopause, as you know, there is a no ovulation is mostly, so there is an unopposed secretion of the estrogen from the ovary as compared to the progesterone. So it all these conditions lead to the endometrial hyperplasia. It is very much important to know the classification. Number one is the simple hyperplasia without atypia. Atypia means there is no atypical type of the cell, atypical type of the nuclei is present. It is characterized by the presence of varying size gland. Gland are present or of various size, many of which are large and cystically dilated and lined by atrophic epithelium. Mitosis are scanty and there is no atypia. Atypia, as the name indicates, simple hyperplasia without atypia, a cystic glandular hyperplasia. Minimal risk, only the 1% they can change into the adenocarcinoma. So when the patient is present with the simple hyperplasia with atypia, there is a less chances they develop the carcinoma. The second type is the complex hyperplasia without atypia. In this, glands are increased in number, variation in size, and are irregular in shape. Glands are lined by multiple layers of tall columnar epithelial cells with large nuclei. There is no significant atypia. Glandular epithelium is thrown into papillary folds or outpouching into the adjacent stroma. Stroma is dense, cellular, and compact. Malignant potential in the absence of atypia is 3%. In this condition, also there is a less chances of they develop the carcinoma, only 3%, if atypia is not present. In the simple hyperplasia, only 1%, and in complex hyperplasia, and when complex hyperplasia is present without atypia, there is a all less chances. Now, third is the complex hyperplasia with atypia. In this complex hyperplasia with atypia, presence of atypical cells in the hyperplastic epithelium. Cytological atypia may be mild, moderate, or severe. Cells are large in size, irregular, hyperchromatic nuclei, prominent nucleoli, altered nucleocytoplasmic ratio. These are precancerous condition, and malignant transformation is related to the degree of atypia. If atypia is more, the transformation chances to the malignant condition is more. 20 to 25% cases of untreated atypical hyperplasia progress to the carcinoma. So the type of the hyperplasia which is more dangerous is the complex hyperplasia with atypia, or another name is the complex atypical hyperplasia. What are the possible treatment of endometrial hyperplasia? In endometrial hyperplasia, we give the combined pills which contain estrogen and progesterone in a balance. Sometimes we insert intrauterine device which contain progesterone, and sometimes we use aromatase inhibitor to decrease the activity of the estrogen. But these type of the treatment is mostly effective in true condition, but not in the complex hyperplasia with atypia. The chances of changing this condition into the malignancy is more as compared to the above two types. Now you can see the picture. endometrial hyperplasia and the normal endometrium. And as you know, the hyperplasia is the increase in the number of the cells. Now you can see here the cystic dilatation of the gland, nuclear stratification. Stratification will become in double layer, 3 layer, 4 layer, and stroma become compact. This is the simple hyperplasia without atypia. The second is the complex hyperplasia without atypia. Here you can see back-to-back gland, dense stroma is there, papillary foldings are there, but atypia is not present. Now the third, which is dangerous one, is the complex hyperplasia with atypia. Here you can see back-to-back arrangement of the gland, atypical type of the nucleus is present, papillary foldings are there, and you can see in somewhere nucleoli is there. So this is the picture of endometrial hyperplasia. Now, thank you, and we inshallah study the new plastic conditions of the uterus next time. Beta, any question? अच्छा, इसको सेंड कर दें, प्रीवियस और टुडे वो इसमें है, यूएसबी में है, क्योंकि उन्होंने नहीं किया, आप सेंड कर दीजिए स्टूडेंट। बेटा और कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो बताओ। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
मैम आपके लास्ट जो लेक्चर था उसका पीडीएफ भी नहीं आया था।
अच्छा, वो ठीक है,
एपिसाइटिस वाला।
सही है, सही है। तीनों का मैं कोशिश करूंगी, वल्वा वेजाइना का भी, सर्विक्स का भी, और ये यूट्रस की जो कंडीशंस हैं वो भी सेंड करने की कोशिश मैंने की है कि बेटा आसान वर्ड्स में समझाने की। थोड़ा सा आप लोग भी पढ़िएगा, इंशाल्लाह समझ में आ जाएगा।
जी मैम।
बस ये सेंड करने का प्रॉब्लम है, और कोई प्रॉब्लम हो कोई बताएं, जो भी और कोई मसला है, कोई डिफिकल्टी है, एनी प्रॉब्लम, एनी क्वेश्चन, यू कैन आस्क।
मैम एक ये पूछना था कि मैम आपने जो एडिनोमायोसिस पढ़ाया उसमें मैम आपने बताया कि जो एंडोमेट्रियम में मतलब कि एक्टोपिक टिश्यू, वहाँ एक्टोपिक नहीं मतलब कि मायोमेट्रियम में जो है वो एंडोमेट्रियम के कुछ टिश्यूज आ जाते हैं वहाँ पे, और आपने कॉज बताया उसका मेटाप्लेजिया। तो मैम ये मुझे समझ नहीं आया कि मेटाप्लेजिया क्यों। मैम मेटाप्लेजिया तो आपने डेफिनेशन भी बता दी, तो एक से दूसरे में कन्वर्ट होना, बट मैम वहाँ तो मायोमेट्रियम के अंदर एंडोमेट्रियम के टिश्यूज आ रहे हैं ना, चेंज तो नहीं हो रहा ना?
नहीं नहीं, इसमें ये बताया कि देखो बेटा, जो इसकी डेफिनेशन है, the definition of adenomyosis is the presence of endometrial gland or stroma या endometrial gland in the myometrium। वो जरूरी नहीं कि वो आए वहां पर। myometrium show the presence of the endometrium gland या endometrial tissue। तो उसका जो पॉसिबल काज उन्होंने बताया, एग्जैक्ट काज इनमें से किसी का नहीं पता, ना एंडोमेट्रियोसिस का ना एडिनोमायोसिस का। इट इज पॉसिबल पोस्टुलेट कि देयर मे बी द मायोमेट्रियल टिश्यू show the metaplasia and they can change into the endometrial tissue or gland। वो जरूरी नहीं कि वो उसके अंदर ही जाए या पेनिट्रेट करे या उसके अंदर मूव करे। sometime it is postulated that may be due to the, ये भी लिखा हुआ बेटा कि somewhere there may be जो patient जो है वो uterine surgery, prior uterine surgery, they have more chances। वो भी ये हो सकता है कि remaining portion वहां पर रह जाए और they develop the endometrial tissue। it is written there कि जो endometrial tissue है मायोमीट्रियम में कैसे प्रेजेंट हो सकता है। तो उसकी उन्होंने लिखा है कि पॉसिबल काज ये हो सकता है कि जो मायोमीट्रियम है या मायोमीट्रियम स्मूथ मसल है वही मेटाप्लेजिया शो करे और वो मेटाप्लास्टिक होकर एंडोमेट्रियल ग्लैंड और स्ट्रोमा बना ले। ये है, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो अंदर ही जाए। ये कहा है कि बस देयर इज द प्रेजेंस ऑफ द मायोमीट्रियम, presence of the endometrium in the myometrium। वो ये जरूरी नहीं कि वो इन्वर्ट जाए, बस उन्होंने ये कहा कि जो शो हो रहे हैं तो वो कैसे पहुंचे, हाउ दे रीच देयर। तो एक पॉसिबल काज इन्होंने ये लिखा है कि हो सकता है कि मायोमीट्रियम या स्मूथ मसल जो सेल्स हैं जो मायोमीट्रियम में प्रेजेंट है, वही मेटाप्लेजिया की वजह से एंडोमेट्रियल ग्लैंड और स्टोमा में चेंज हो गए।
ठीक है मैम,
ठीक
थैंक
है।
यू। जी
और
मैम।
एनी अदर क्वेश्चन बेटा?
मैम
जी बेटा।
मैम ये क्वेश्चन था कि आपने बताया कि डिसफंक्शनल यूट्राइन ब्लीडिंग में हम डीएनसी यानी कि डायलिटेशन एंड क्यूरेटेज करेंगे, तो मैम क्या ये कंडीशन जो है इस ब्लीडिंग को वर्सन नहीं कर सकती, क्योंकि डायलिटेशन और क्यूरेटेज
बेटा
में हम एंडोमेट्रियम को तो स्क्रैप ऑफ करते हैं।
हाँ, तो बेटा ज्यादातर जो ये जो ब्लीडिंग हो रही है, डिसफंक्शनल यूट्राइन ब्लीडिंग हो रही है, वो एंडोमेट्रियल हाइपरप्लेजिया की वजह से है। तो एक्यूट कंडीशंस को क्या नाम है, यानी कि एक्यूट कंडीशन को कंट्रोल करने के लिए जब एंडोमेट्रियम ही हम शेड कर देंगे फॉर द टाइम बिंग, तो कम से कम जो प्रोफ्यूज या हैवी ब्लीडिंग है वो स्टॉप हो जाएगी फॉर द टाइम बिंग। और दूसरा ये कि उसकी फिर हम हिस्टोपैथोलॉजी भी करेंगे, जो शेडिंग्स लेंगे उसकी हिस्टोपैथोलॉजी भी लेंगे टू नो द एग्जैक्ट काज। और दूसरा ये कि फॉर द टाइम बिंग जो है वो ब्लीडिंग स्टॉप हो जाएगी, जो एंडोमेट्रियम प्रोलिफरेट है वो हम जो है वो रिमूव कर देंगे, तो इसकी वजह से ब्लीडिंग स्टॉप हो जाएगी। टू control the bleeding in DUB, we perform the dilatation and curettage.
ठीक है। और मैम अगर प्यूबर्टी से पहले किसी को जो है वो डिसफंक्शनल यूट्राइन ब्लीडिंग हो रही है, तो उसका लास्ट ऑप्शन पे जो है हम हिस्टेक्टोमी को रखेंगे?
ना 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 बेटा नहीं, वो मैंने बताया लास्ट हिस्टेक्टोमी बहुत ज्यादा, कोई बहुत ज्यादा डेंजरस कंडीशन हो, वरना जो है इसके भी वही जो मैंने आपको ये बताए हैं कि जो है मुख्तलिफ जो है, सबसे पहले तो कंबाइन पिल देते हैं जो ईस्ट्रोजन और प्रोजेस्टेरॉन को जो है वो मेंटेन रखते हैं, जिसकी वजह से ब्लीडिंग ना हो। दूसरा ये है कि अगर जो कि वो अनमैरिड है तो जब तो नहीं, अगर वो मैरिड है तो आईयूडी जो विच कंटेन प्रोजेस्टिन वो देते हैं, जिसकी वजह से प्रोजेस्टेरॉन सीक्रेशन होती रहे और जो है वो बैलेंस रहे ईस्ट्रोजन और प्रोजेस्टेरॉन में। जो लास्ट, या फिर मैंने बताया था एरोमेटेज इनहिबिटर जो कि इनहिबिट करते हैं ईस्ट्रोजन को, तो ये सब दवाएं देने के बाद, पिल्स देने के बाद लास्ट ऑप्शन, और वो भी उसमें हम देखते हैं कि पेशेंट की एज क्या है और उसका जो है वो फैमिली कंप्लीट है, जब हिस्टेक्टोमी करेंगे, ये लास्ट ऑप्शन है। और अनमैरिड में या एट प्यूबर्टी पे तो ये कभी भी हम यूज नहीं करेंगे।
ठीक है। और मैम ये भी क्वेश्चन है कि हिस्टेक्टोमी हमेशा कंप्लीट होती है, पार्शियल भी हो सकती है? फॉर
पार्शियल भी
एग्जांपल
हो
अगर हमें कोई कॉज सर्विक्स में मिल रहा है तो हम फिर उसकी बस
हाँ बिल्कुल, कभी भी जरूरी नहीं है कि हर कंडीशन में जो है हम बायलैटरल साल्पिन जो ऊफरेक्टोमी और ये यूट्रस को करें, वो फिर हम कंडीशंस के ऊपर करते हैं। कभी कभार जो है हम एक ओवरी को भी छोड़ देते हैं ताकि हार्मोनल इम्बैलेंस ना हो और पेशेंट की नॉर्मल जो लाइफ है वो डिस्टर्ब ना हो। वो उसकी कंडीशंस के ऊपर, एक्सटेंट ऑफ द डिजीज के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि कितना पोर्शन हमने रिमूव करना है। कभी भी जो है हम ऐसा नहीं करेंगे कि बायलैटरल साल्पिन जो ऊफरेक्टोमी और यूट्रस सब निकाल के बाहर कर दे। जितना पोर्शन डिजीज है और जो इन्वॉल्व है वही पोर्शन जो है डिजीज वाला निकाला जाएगा। और जो है जितना हम लीस्ट प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं, जितना मैक्सिमम प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं, उतना ही हम प्रिजर्व करेंगे।
थैंक यू।
और बेटा कोई क्वेश्चन हो?
और मैम ये मैम अगर पार्शियल हिस्टेक्टोमी कर रहे हैं, फुल नहीं कर रहे हैं मैम, कंप्लीट नहीं कर रहे, पार्शियल कर रहे हैं, तो मैम पार्शियल में फिर मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल होगी फीमेल को मंथली या
बेटा
नहीं?
हाँ नहीं, क्योंकि ओवरीज हम प्रिजर्व करेंगे ना। ओवरीज को जब भी तो कहते हैं कि बहुत ज्यादा एक्सट्रीम कंडीशन हो तो जब ओवरीज को बायलैटरली रिमूव करेंगे, वरना ओवरीज को जब हम प्रिजर्व करते हैं, कोशिश करते हैं कि अगर एक, दोनों नहीं तो एक को हम प्रिजर्व करें, ताकि नॉर्मल जो हार्मोनल जो है वो साइक्लिक चेंजेस उसके अंदर जो है वो चेंज जो नॉर्मल है वो रहे और वो जो है यानी कि नॉर्मल उसके कंडीशंस रहे। इस वजह से जो है वो फिर मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल और वो बरकरार है। कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होगा कि कंप्लीटली रिमूव कर दें, ताकि क्योंकि जो ईस्ट्रोजन या प्रोजेस्टेरॉन है वो सिर्फ एक मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल ही को नहीं, आप समझ सकते हो कि पूरी उसकी जो कंडीशन है उन सब के लिए बहुत जरूरी है नॉर्मल साइक्लिक चेंजेस। क्योंकि एक अगर आप मीनोपॉज या पेरीमीनोपॉज पढ़े तो वो सारी की सारी कंडीशन लॉस ऑफ दी हार्मोन्स की वजह से हो रहा है। तो ओवरीज को प्रिजर्व करने की और ताकि जो है नॉर्मल साइक्लिक जो चेंजेस हैं वो प्रिजर्व रहे और लीस्ट अफेक्टेड रहे।
ठीक है मैम।
ठीक है बेटा,
थैंक यू मैम। जी मैम, थैंक यू।
मैम अगर किसी की एक ओवरी प्रिजर्व हो, एक ओवरी को रिमूव कर दिया जाए, कंप्लीटली एक्सरसाइज कर दिया जाए, तो उसमें मैम रिप्रोडक्टिव चांसेस कितने कम हो जाते हैं?
बहुत कम हो जाते हैं, लेकिन पॉसिबिलिटी है। एक फिलोपियन ट्यूब भी बचती है जब भी चांसेस होते हैं। ये तो बिल्कुल समझने कि इसके 50% चांसेस कम हो सकते हैं, लेकिन हो सकता है। ये जरूरी नहीं है।
और मैम उसकी मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल भी रेगुलर होगी, मतलब क्योंकि
हाँ।
हमारे पास तो अल्टरनेट मंथ में अल्टरनेट ओवी से ओव्यूलेट होता है ना,
नहीं
तो
बेटा,
अगर एक निकल जाएगी तो फिर उसको
फिर भी
सब्सिक्वेंट मंथ में
नहीं सब्सिक्वेंट ऐसे रेगुलर रहे, क्योंकि हार्मोन तो हो रहे हैं, लेकिन अब फॉलिकल स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन अपने पिट्यूटरी से रिलीज हो रहे हैं, वो ओवरी पे अफेक्ट कर रहे हैं, ईस्ट्रोजन रिलीज कर रहे हैं, फॉलिकल से ओवर निकल रहा है, ओवर शेड हो रहा है, फिर भी होगा, चाहे वो एक हो या दो हो, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। ये नहीं होगा कि एक मंथ में आएगी एक मंथ में नहीं आएगी, ऐसा नहीं।
थैंक यू मैम।
ठीक है बेटा, और कोई प्रॉब्लम?
यस मैम, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू। बस ये साइन कर दीजिएगा, मुझे तो पता नहीं क्या होता है।
हाँ,